But let's react to Flats on Season 10. Let's see what he says.
Chat, we gotta talk. It's time.
This season is the worst season I've played, by the way.
I originally did this a couple days.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie. This is the worst season launch in Overwatch history. A lot of that comes from like the wide queue bug and the queue times, which were supposed to be fixed, but are not. So yeah, I've never seen a season launch be this bad in Overwatch ever.
Days ago, but I think it's nice. I think it's very easy to say. I was not happy at that time. The gameplay loop plus all this shit this season sucks.
It does.
And you know,
fuck
a
life
little bit of
rework.
emotion in it because this season is probably my least favorite in a long time. And I'm deciding to redo it because I feel like I probably could do it a little bit better in a little bit more in a constructive way. Everything I said still is true. Like none of it's changed. The feelings still are all the same. So let's start. What's up with Season 10? The first one, the big one, and I think the one we should get out of the way first, is what they've done to ranked. So right now,
You just fucked
in
up.
high level ranked, apparently it's changed as of today, but I'm still not convinced. The game is broken. If you queue in a wide group, which a wide group, if you haven't seen, I'll show you really quick on the ranked screen.
It's fine if it
GM
happens.
Or champion is anything. So if you are,
and here's the thing, guys, and here's the thing, like, things break in game development, right? I was really annoyed by it too. Things break. It happens, okay? So anybody sitting there being like, God, these damn devs, whatever. It's like, things in game design break. Things in development break. It happens, right? Now, I don't think this Y group was tested well or implemented right, and, you know, it's frustrating. But things break. Shit happens. I'm not going to hold that against them because that happens to every company, you know?
For a duo queue, a trio queue, or a 5-stack, you're considered a wide group. The reason that becomes a problem is duo queue has never been a problem in Overwatch, ever, in history. What they're trying to do is make it so that games are a little bit better, and that you can also play with friends, while also not ruining the solo queue experience, which is good. The key, in my opinion, is making it so that duo queue can queue both into 3 stacks and 5 stacks, as well as solo players. That's not how this currently works. Now, there is a tweet that did come out today, so I'm going to give them credit, and I will show you the tweet really quick. This tweet came out earlier and said, we push the matchmaking changes that are targeted at Season 10's implementation of wide groups. Overall, these changes should clamp down on some of the outlier queue times. In GM, you are now able to make narrow groups if your party is within 3 divisions of each other. We'll monitor the results of these bundled changes over the next few days. Overall, the Season 10 changes have contributed to a large improvement in match quality for most players. Big wins. Team is continuing to refine and take care of more extreme cases. I'm not, like, I don't know how they measure this. Apparently they have a way internally that they mention that they measure this stuff. Sometimes in chat earlier that said that basically they're trying to make it so that the highest player in the lobby and the lowest player in the lobby, they're trying to smush them closer together so it's more of an even game. But there's some big
I wonder if they're doing that to try to stop steamrolls. I wonder. Because it's not about the player's skill that's causing the steamrolls. It's the counter swapping, the matchup, and who's willing to counter swap and who isn't to get easier value a lot of the time in these higher ranks. Especially when there's a tank gap. Like that, like a lot of the steamrolls are caused by bad comp matchups. They just are. There's so many auto losses games in this game. You know, it's funny.
And I will just show you mine.
And like making the games more narrow.
Here's me the other night.
Oh my God. What does this mean, chat? Think about this, okay? 5v5 causes more steamrolls. It does. It just does. One player is worth more. So when there's a mismatch, it's more impactful on the game, right? Direct quote from them. The pendulum swings even farther in 5v5, right? Causing more steamroll games for bad matchmaking. If by proxy to fix that, their fix is to make matches more narrow, what does that do to queue times? Oh my God. Oh my God. To be fair, from a coding standpoint, it's difficult to adequately test something like that and have the live data variables. Yes, you are completely right. You are completely right. Yes, it is you can't get that right until it goes to live. Which is why they probably should have done that in a mid-season patch, but that's okay. You live and learn. But I find that very funny. If they, in order to stop steamrolls, have to make matchmaking be tighter in their mind, that won't actually stop the steamrolls and it'll increase queue times, which is fucking hilarious.
Night trying to play some ranked with car queue, and we're sitting here in an hour and 47-minute long queue. And we were duo queued at like GM4 for me, and I think he's Masters 1. And that's not all. There's plenty of other people that have also had really long queue times or big problems with their queues. This was a GM5 duo queue. Yeah, and then there was also a night where Jay was in queue for over an hour with Waleed, and I ended up pulling him out to just 5-stack on off rolls. But this is ridiculous. This is actually insane. And you have a lot of people out there to just re-spew what people say is like, well, it's a wide match. Well, you shouldn't be waiting hours for a game to pop. And it's not just the high-level GM players that are having that problem. People in the metal ranks are having that problem as well. Yeah, Guru's been playing. Everyone has the problem. Everyone's trying to play, and they legitimately can't get games. It's so bad. It's terrible. So, like, putting that aside, they're trying to fix it, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. As of today, they're saying it should be better, but that doesn't change the fact that for the entire first week of the season, if you were GM
this season was chalked at launch, unfortunately, because of that.
Game unless you were solo queue, and if you know anything about playing solo queue in this game, nobody talks. Everyone's out of voice the entire time. Half the time, you get somebody just typing.
Please tell me this is season 10 ad.
Only the good try.
The entire time talking shit or complaining about whatever. There's no comms, there's no communication. Even all the pros do it. All the pros and all the contenders play it. Like, dude, honestly, like, yeah, I honestly kind of hate playing with pro players nowadays because not because it's about winning or losing, but half the time they're out of voice and don't say a word or play on alt accounts, you know, and it just
they have to because again
it's not a good
listen, we play on alts because we can't get fucking games. Like high level play in Overwatch 2 is significantly worse than it was in Overwatch 1. Significantly. I cannot stress this enough, guys. Guys, I don't play on my main at all anymore. At all. I never will get games. I will never get games. My max quality will be horrible. It is genuinely a terrible experience. So I just don't play. And there's no reason for me to play. Like, it's actually not worth playing, and it's a serious problem. And unfortunately, we'll see. But.
And actually, on the SVD podcast this week, we were talking about it a bit, and so I enjoy playing with friends, and Emong does too. And when Emong, when we were talking before, it's like, yeah, he has a solo queue in the morning because nobody's on yet, and his games are ass. Nobody has a good time. And at the end of the day, it's a video game. And yeah, there's people that are obviously grinding to be pros and grinding to improve and whatnot. But dude, if you literally can't even have any fun playing the game, and you're punished for playing with friends that badly, you're gonna kill your game. And if you're one of those people that sits there and goes, well, you know, that's ranked competitive integrity, it's like, no, it's not. I was forcing a solo queue experience competitive integrity, dude. Like, this isn't like a test. It's not a war that we're being ready for. It's ranked in a video game. I appreciate what they're trying to do and allow people to stack and trying to have so the stacking experience doesn't interfere with the solo queue experience, right? Like, solo players shouldn't play against 5 stacks, but also what people don't realize is in the normal queues for 99% of the time, when you were a solo player playing against a stack, your team's rating was much higher overall than that stack's. Right, so the game was trying to compensate.
Unless they're all alting,
you know,
but like but the problem is, so many people are alting because it's the only way to efficiently play in this rank system. That's why. Yeah, that's gonna eggs like milk for them. It's really funny. That segment just goes to show you how big the disconnect is at Activision Blizzard to their player base, which is why the company has been under scrutiny for this long. Like, they are in their own world and echo chamber very far. Ironically, you know, they say the 66 people are echo chambers, yet how is it an echo chamber when most of the people asking for it are just your literal average everyday consumer? Like, this is the entitlement that comes from Blizzard is what it is. It's funny. I think it's funny. And the people be like, it's not that serious. It is that serious, though, because, like, ultimately, y'all took a product that people loved, abandoned it, wiped your ass with it, and then shit out a worse version. So yeah, it kind of is that serious, you know, and it's really funny. I just think it's funny at this point, personally. I'm just here to wait and watch for the implosion because unfortunately, guys, based on the response from Blizzard and like a lot of the streamers in the community and people in the community, it's going to take an implosion to fix it. So you kind of just have to bide your time and wait for the inevitable, which sucks because like this game deserves a lot more, but like, you know, it is what it is.
Masters 5 players, but your team's all Masters 3 or Masters 2
They're going to have to rework so many heroes and they'll do nothing.
Better individual players, but they might have better coordination, right? And so you would actually be pretty 50-50 on those games until you got to the top 10 lobbies, and then that's where, you know, the 4-stack NYXL at 3 in the morning meme comes from like, because like those are like the alpha players, right? Like you're not going to beat them. It's a stack of pro players that are calming and together.
Actually, we did used to beat on them. The East Coast stacks used to fucking whoop on the AL players, dude. We used to get, dude, we were in their nightmares. Like there's clips of us, chat, the old East Coast stacks playing against like the Korean 3 stacks. We would play, there was one clip of Pine on Gibraltar. I know you guys have seen this, right? Where my fucking East Coast Hitman stack, the boys, we played 0 healers against GOATs, against OWL players. We played Orisa, Hog, Rhine, Bastion, Torb, Reaper. Capped on these guys on Gibraltar with 4 minutes and 51 seconds. No, I'm not kidding. There were Hitman stacks on East Coast. Like, there's videos of me and Juby duo queued against NYXL 3 stacks. Fucking ripping on him. Shout out Juby, my guy. Shout out Juby. So, like, to say you could never beat those guys, like, that's not really true. Like, they got beat on several times. Like, they would climb eventually if they got, like, shitter lobbies, but, like, sometimes a lot of these stacks would match up, and, like, it actually would be good games. It would be hard. It would be hard. It would be. But, like, it was, like, that was what made people care, right? That's when OWL was getting the crazy viewership, right? People gave a shit. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect. But if the best players are stacking up together, that's what you want to encourage. And it can be tilting to play against that, absolutely. But, again, what kind of world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a world where OWCS and people are quitting left and right already because the prize money's not there? You don't have a grassroots ranked ladder that encourages and promotes these people to play together. How the hell do you expect to make that work? The answer is it won't.
Oh, that's off of season 10. I don't want to go down that road too much and ramble. Ranked has been a big problem, and it sucks because last season was such an improvement. So starting right off the bat, you can't even play ranked if you're a high-level player unless you're just playing by yourself the entire time, and that's miserable. Except for the new game mode. The new game mode seems pretty cool. It's only out for 1 week, though, and then it's going to go back in the vault. I think as of today, it's already back in the vault. I actually unironically think that it might be a game mode that's too balanced. Every game I've played, every single game I played went to 4 to 5. And that was when I was getting it on quick play, when it was roll queue. Yeah, if you queued it in arcade, you got goats a lot of times.
Yeah, you could not queue it in arcade. They should have done it in roll queue. In quick play, it was way better. I queued it in arcade, it was unplayable.
So it's not totally fair. But a lot of those went to 4 to 5 as well. Fun game though. I enjoyed it. But the downside is though it goes back in the vault till season 12. So it's like nothing new. You know, it's like, okay, like, all right, well, new game mode's gone, so whatever. Then you have the new hero Venture. Venture, I think, depending on who you ask, is either broken or terrible. And I think that's a good sign that they released a hero.
Mid. Venture's mid and situational.
That is, on the safe side, strong, and it's pretty good. I have no complaints for Venture. I think Venture has a niche, and I think a lot of people still need to learn how to play
it is absolutely a niche. Absolutely
I
a niche.
That somewhat the hype
100%.
probably isn't as big because of the playtest. Everyone
cannot play Venture against Flyers.
They got released directly into ranked, and I think that was actually probably the right call. And
No.
enjoyed that. Granted, there was some outlier cases where people were throwing him to get Venture. They didn't get Venture.
Needed 2 weeks.
You know, you have that Venture who's not very good on your team because they just want to play Venture in ranked, and that blows. Don't get me wrong. But if the rank system wasn't so broken, I think it probably would have been a net W. So
fair, but I doubt it.
Streamer mode. Streamer mode got released, and don't get me wrong.
Hot take before he says anything. Streamer mode only should have been for streamers. Streamer mode only should have been for streamers. Bad idea for everybody.
Right. It's awesome. The streamer mode has been a major win, a major success. My quality of games has gone through the roof since the streamer mode's come out. Or it was in the beginning. Because there's a major flaw in the system. And I'm not going to tell you what the flaw is, but there's a bug where you can just do something in-game to then reveal what the streamer mode player's name is. And that blows because it's a few buttons and then all of a sudden you know who the streamer mode is. So, it actually doesn't fully
You just
work.
do a whitelist. It's not hard.
Play, and it's great for, outside of high-level play because, like, those players aren't totally tapped in. They don't know all the, the tricks and stuff that's come out super new. It sucks that it's bugged, and it's such a simple bug, too, that it really does kind of put a damper on it. But yeah, it's just another negative on the season, and what should have been another positive, and should have been a fully net positive. Then we had also this week the reporting bullshit. If you don't know the story, well, let me just grab them for you, I guess.
Shout out Derpy, free Derpy.
This player,
free Derpy,
got banned for saying something in chat and was like, can I get a person to respond? And the CS team responded and
free
said,
Derpy.
From what we can see, the account was suspended for inappropriate language. I see the F word and the SH.
So, like, you could ban him in-game, but you should not suspend him from collegiate because of it. So the big issue here, guys, is that because he got banned in game, there's a rule that automatically means you're suspended from collegiate as well. But like, if you're just cussing, like, why are we banning him from collegiate his senior year? It's stupid.
H word. For those who don't know what these two words were, it's fuck and shit. And then somebody responded and said, why would you have a profanity filter if no one is allowed to swear? If profanity is ban worthy, shouldn't the filter instantly ban anyone for swearing if it already detects? And they said, no, the filter is there for those who wish to use it, but profanity has never been allowed in our games. If reported, absolutely actionable. That's dog shit and bullshit. No, we all know it. Lying to our literal faces. Yeah, honestly,
it was never enforced.
It kind of looked like they were sort of shit talking when they said the F and SH words, quote unquote, the fucking shit. From what but the video that was given, like basically like screenshots of
Who cares?
So
who cares?
I don't know, I didn't go
Southern California
much,
soft.
it seemed like they were kind of shit talking, and apparently they had like 6 actions previously beforehand. So the ban might have actually been worthy, but the action, what they were saying is like, oh, if you say shit in your games, you get reported, you're gonna get banned, is bullshit. Because I've been playing this game for years, and I still know people that play this game that actually say hard slurs, like hard R, up, shit, homophobic slurs, transphobic stuff. Like they are still play this game every day, and they don't ever get banned. And if they do get banned, they just hop on another account because they have a million accounts. And it's like, if you really want to go hard for this type of shit, if someone types literally a racist slur in your game, it should be instant ban, literally instant chat mute, just like one tap. No, and it doesn't do that because they don't take that shit seriously. They've never taken that shit seriously, and this is dog shit. It's bullshit. And then they went further, and someone said, no way you're doubling down on this. Banning people for spamming slurs and sending death threats, rape threats, etc. Your player base doesn't give a shit about curse words. We want to be able to play the game without receiving violent threats.
To be fair though, like, reporting them is what you should do. So like, I don't get why people were really mad about this. Like, you should report them. Like,
and then they responded, report them joy. And to which they deleted. So that went around the internet, and you know, we had people like
people aren't wrong though.
And Asmongold making videos about it. Of course,
you should report them
because rightfully so at that point. Although I think there was more to that story at the beginning with the whole shit talking thing. But regardless, though, they're just. It's absolute nonsense, and it puts another damper on another season because a lot of people do get banned in Overwatch, and unfortunately there's a lot of people that also cry wolf. And the Garlic Bread story from a few months ago is a great example of people lying on Reddit and trying to get attention on the internet and saying, I didn't even do anything. Yeah, and then they end up doing something. They literally did do something, but the CS account so bad, and it says like, oh, if you say shit, you're gonna get banned.
There are a lot of
that's true. That should not happen. If you say
there are a lot of
in
false
game,
bans.
you should not get banned. That is nonsense. That is bullshit.
You shouldn't get banned for trash talk if you're not slurring. You shouldn't. You just shouldn't. It means people are invested, right? You should not get banned for talking trash in a competitive game. You should not get banned, right? You just shouldn't. But it's just, you know, at this point, well, let it go.
And I almost don't believe that there's no way that that's actually true. Because if that is true, they're moronic. There has to be something to it, you know? If you type in game just and you get banned, that's what I'm saying. It shouldn't happen. But like, regardless though, like, it's just another thing that gets tacked onto this season, and it's like another damper, another downer, another bad thing that gets hit this season. And I haven't even got the balance yet because holy Jesus Christ, don't get me goddamn started.
Well, to be honest, like,
well, you know,
again, it's just, well, I'll let him go.
Before we do that, let's go quick play, right? They implemented.
Dude, quick play is ass in this game.
Which, if you
quick play is so much better in Overwatch 1. I'm sorry.
For a few minutes, so it's like 5 minutes for 2 games, 5 minutes for 3 games, and then it scales upwards to where. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're banning like 10 games, it gives you like a 48-hour ban or something like that. But it gives you hours up until that point. And if you're leaving 10 quick play games, okay, you're kind of doing a lot. But it should not punish you for 2 games. It should be like maximum 4. Because it's quick play. It's meant for fun, and nobody wants to sit there and quick play.
Maybe you should. I don't think people should get banned for quick play at all.
Talking mad shit, or someone just being annoying, or hell, let's say you're one of those people who doesn't like quote unquote throwers on your team. I'm not gonna lie, you're kind of a little bit of like you kind of bitch a little too much for that because it's supposed to be the more fun game mode. You should be playing ranked if you actually wanting to play the game seriously. That's
exactly quick play.
Because quick play is not called quick play.
Dude, they've made quick play so sweaty. It sucks.
Even though I know it's under the tab called unranked, but it's not even using ranked game rules. You only play attack or defense, and they give you more time. So the rules are
exactly. The rules are not the same. Yes.
You can't really call it a ranked game mode because it's not even the same thing as a ranked.
Attackers
game.
have advantage on payload.
1-to-1 ratio. But the rules are ridiculously strict for no reason. And you should be getting people dropping in and dropping out of quick play games if they should want to. And you shouldn't feel like you're being held hostage into a game. And I would argue that even though they probably have data that more people play, you know, those quick play games that haven't been leaving, I bet the quality of those quick play games also has dropped a little bit because people just want to get out of the game as fast as possible.
Yes.
And then you also have people that are probably getting pissed off in those games and reporting those people for quote unquote throwing in quick play. And it's like, dude, why are we even doing this? Like, we're creating new problems for ourselves and creating new problems for people to fight over.
I can't wait for the balance patch. This balance patch was
like,
ass.
I'm for having
Buffing
quick
Lifeweaver,
play
biggest
Weaver
mistake.
penalties if they're leaving a lot of games, if they have the data that shows that there's tons of changes and they're good changes and it's helping improve the game, sure. But like, how hard they're tightening up on it is just not fun. It feels gross. I don't like it. Let's come to the big one though. Balance.
This
Tank.
so bad.
Tank still blows.
I wonder
Tank
why.
blows ass. It's so trip.
I wonder why.
So dog shit.
I wonder
and
why.
The whole reason I even have to like re-record this kinda is because of how pissed off I was in just like the couple games of playing. Because playing versus tank and playing as tank is the worst experience right now. Because you can play against Orisa or some, and especially Orisa, and it's like you can get basically server admin rolled where the tank kills everybody because they're destroying. Or you play tank and you absolutely just explode every fight. And there's such a swinging difference between the two, and it's like, it feels terrible because depending on what's happening in the game, you either feel like you're having no impact or all the impact. And people will get really pissed off in quick play games because like their Winston just kills 4 every fight and they're like, oh my god, like their Winston's rolling us, like our tank sucks. And it's like, dude, if you counter swap their tank, I guarantee they're not even going to be able to play the game anymore. But the counter swap game has evolved so much further past tank v tank counter swapping that it's like, it's insane. And at the highest level, everyone just plays Orisa. And so we're here in another season of goddamn Orisa. And the worst part is, I think we're cooked. And if you saw my tier list, you know what I'm talking about. I think we're cooked because we have Orisa meta right now. Hog is juiced. Hog is juiced, but he's low-key sitting in the shadows. Mauga's also really still good and also sitting in the shadows. And so you have this meta where Winston's pretty good. You have Mauga being pretty good, Hog being pretty good, and Orisa being the king of them all. And once you shoot the king Orisa, Hog's going to take over. And then when Hog takes over, Monkey's not going to be as fun to play. But then when Hog takes over, what's going to be the counter to Hog? In a lot of ways, it ends up actually being Mauga. So you're going to have Hog and Mauga again. And guess what? These are all these boring-ass numbers characters, and nobody has fun playing against them, and nobody has...
Wait, boring-ass numbers characters? Huh. I wonder how you could fix this problem. You know what we should do, guys? We should just balance the game better and rework them all again. That's definitely going to work.
Fun playing them, other than the Hog players have fun playing Hog, I guess. But honestly, they're back. It's back to what it was before. The whole point of reworking Hog was to move one shot, and one shot's back now. So you can one shot people again on Hog. And they also buffed his self-heal to 50% resistance.
Dude, this is a horrible gaming experience. How do you live like this? Well, I don't know, Linus. I don't have time to reason.
During the 20% DPS passive, then that got put to 15, so all self feels a little bit better, but he's still strong. So Hog is low-key sitting in the shadows ready to go, and so we have to wait another 3 weeks for a good patch, and if the next patch nerfs Orisa in 3 weeks, guess what? In 3 weeks from now, then we just all play Hog. And then we have to wait another month for another patch, which is a whole other season, and then guess what happens then? If they nerf Hog at that point, Mauga probably takes over. When Mauga probably takes over, then we gotta wait a couple more weeks until maybe we have another golden age where it's a few weeks where, you know, something's good. And then at the same time, they give micro buffs to everyone else. Like Orisa will probably get another micro buff somewhere along the line. I'm so sick of...
Has Overwatch 2 had a golden age? I don't think it has. Like, I think there's been metas that have been more enjoyable, right? I don't think there's been a golden age of Overwatch 2 where, like, every character can get picked. Season 1 was not the golden age. There was only like one type of comp being played. It was perma the same stuff. Half the heroes weren't pickable. I don't think it's going to happen. Because they're like October of 2020 will never happen in Overwatch 2. Because it's impossible to balance the game that way in this format. Season 2 was terrible. I did not play at all in Season 2. The game sucked. I don't think there's been a golden era for Overwatch 2. I don't think there has. I think there's been some seasons with enjoyable metas, most of them being dive-esque. But, like, other than that, it just hadn't happened.
Every season just being this non-stop cycle of playing the juiced-up numbers character tanks. I'm so sick of it. It's so ass. And the worst part is both statements are true, where you feel like if you play tank, you stand there and you can't do anything. And you're playing a spectator sport, but you also can play against tanks or play as tank and take over the entire lobby and just kill everybody, and it's not fun to play against. Who likes playing against an Orisa that just stands there with Fortify and shoots you? You can't do any damage back, you can't do shit. It's ass. It's not fun.
Fats!
It's not fun to play.
Welcome to 5v5 tanks, dude. Welcome. He will be the first one to crack. Flats will be the first one to crack. He will be. I love the guy. He's a great friend, and regardless of all the banter about Blizzard, you know, I wish him the best for the rest of his life. He's a great dude, and he's behind the scenes. He's been great to me. He's a straight shooter. I fucking love the guy. But he will be the first one to crack because he's the one that has to fucking live with this shit every day, right? And he's gonna learn. Like again, unfortunately, it's gonna take another 5 seasons of this. I think when the next tank hero gets released and it's more of the same, and maybe one more tank rework of this bullshit happening, we'll sit down and be like, all right, enough's a fucking enough. This is fucking ridiculous. And this is why I'm saying it's gonna have to implode, right? It's gonna have to implode. The tank players are gonna fucking say, we're done with this bullshit, right? You never fixed our problem. We're done playing. And it sucks. It really sucks that that's gonna be what has to happen. But like, welcome to Activision Blizzard, I suppose. So
play is a risk either half the time because you have to stand there and wait.
It really sucks, but you know,
and
I feel
like
bad for my
getting to the
friends.
point where it's like, holy shit, more and more people are jumping on the 6v6 wagon because they don't know how to fix it. Because
you can't.
The tank is terrible.
Listen. It's because you can't fucking fix it. This is why I made the video. You can't. It's unfixable.
And it's like getting to the point where it's like, holy shit, more and more people are jumping on the 6v6 wagon because they don't know how to fix it. Because we're cooked. The tank is terrible.
This
is
is why I
cooked,
say give it
and
time.
You can't buff it anymore because it's already at the point where it's kind of getting broken. And I don't want tank to be broken. I don't want it to get buffed. But like you always see people saying like buff Ryan or buff whatever, and it's like these tanks are like not even bad. It's just the experience sucks. So what do? And then
you do nothing.
That, you know, you have little stuff that keeps the game fresh. Like Mirror Watch came out today, and it's like Mirror Watch was fun for a couple hours. It had a good time. It's actually a really good game mode. And if you haven't tried Mirror Watch, I think you should try it. It's a good time. It'll spice it up for a couple weeks, or a couple days, or a couple hours.
Not a permanent solution.
But the real talk is the actual base game.
It's not a permanent solution. It's not a permanent solution.
I think it feels like shit for pretty much everybody.
There is no permanent solution in 5v5. There is none.
I think everyone's just kind of meh.
There is none.
Happy. Tank players being the ones who are not happy. Support players are like meh. And DPS players are a little bit more on the meh, it's not bad, but specifically hit scan players. All the flex DPS players like Junkrat, Hanzo, etc. are all probably pissed off too.
Yeah, they're unplayable. They gutted the role.
And it makes me sad because the last few seasons, everything's been climbing and things have been on the up and up. And here we are,
again,
taking a step back.
The last few seasons were good because they introduced features into the game that increased the quality of life. But ultimately, as long as we are in the fucking 5v5 format, the most important thing being the gameplay, and the gameplay loop is permanently inferior, right? So this is why I said months ago, it's not too late. Unfortunately, Blizzard's taken their stance, and a lot of creators have gone out and been like, Blizzard's right, 5v5, because they've gotten so much right over the years, right? That it's going to take an implosion to fix it. Which really sucks, because this game deserves better. Yeah, look, guys, like we got the movement, the attention that it needs. Here's what's gonna happen, and you guys can put this one in the record book because I know what's gonna happen. I've been writing all this stuff for years. I know what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen. Okay, we probably are gonna have 5 or 6 more seasons of this, right? And this probably is what should happen with Blizzard. They need some time. 5 or 6 more seasons of this. Tanks are going to be miserable. More and more are going to quit, right? It's going to be really clear that balance is just way worse from this point on. More steamrolls. The game's going to get stale way faster in 5v5, right? And ultimately, Blizzard will probably do a rebrand for Overwatch. I really hope they do. Get rid of the Overwatch 2 branding and then bring back 6v6 as like a new content, like ace up our sleeve. We need to spice up the game. Let's do a big PR fix to get rid of the fucking Bobby Kotick effect on Overwatch 2. And let's like start this over. And with a lot of the new features they put in the game, like it actually probably could be good. It sucks that it's going to take this long. I feel really bad for, you know, the players, I guess. It just the disconnect from Activision Blizzard to their average player and consumer is insane. I've never really seen anything like it. But you know, I feel really bad for my tank player friends, and you know, I definitely would end up queuing more tank. And what we'll do in the meantime, chat, is I have some video stuff coming out soon about 6v6 pugs and like 6v6 community. Guru and I talked about it pretty extensively. Like, we're going to try to foster that. I have a lot going on with Mineplex right now. So I'm doing what I can. Just to be blunt with you, we are planning to release the first studio project, the developer environment for Mineplex in days. I think maybe sometime next week. We'll see how testing goes this week, because we do want to spend a week testing it to make sure that things look good on that. And then Mineplex is about to ramp up a lot for me this summer. So I'm going to try to make as much time as I can, but that's where my priorities are, just to be blunt with you. Like, I'm just going to be totally blunt with you. That's where my priorities are. I promised that community a lot, and we need to get that going. We've made some really awesome stuff. I would expect for you Mineplexers to start seeing some gameplay in May. But I'm on NDA for some of the other stuff, which is why I've not been able to talk to you guys about it. But coming up soon, we will be able to talk about it, and I think people will be really excited. So that's why my attention has been very in and out of a lot of different things recently. And just to be blunt with you, that's my priority. I've taken my chips out of the Overwatch scene, and I've put them into Mineplex, which is great. But the main reason I'm still here is because of you guys, and I like streaming for a hobby. Yeah, we're going to work on the 6v6 code, and we're going to try to make that good. And ultimately, I'm at the point where we're going to show people, right? Because playing 1 or 2 games of 6v6, you can feel it. There's way less oppressive characters. There's way less counter swapping, way more player agency, way more combos. Fights are more turnable. The game has the depth again. And as long as it's not double shield and 1 or 2 of those bad metas, which were caused by bad balance and abandonment of the game feels fucking awesome, dude. It's really, really fucking fun. So Blizzard's not going to support it. We're going to do the best we can to support it and just show people. Because listen, at the end of the day, I'm confident. And everybody who played 6v6 is confident. 5v5 is going to age like milk. And 6v6 is going to age like fine wine. It's just going to. It's just going to, for a lot of different reasons, even outside of gameplay, right? Talk marketing, for example, right? The PR around Overwatch 2 is so bad in the greater gaming space, regardless of what people say that are in the community. Like, you need something to be like, yo, it's like WoW Classic. It's like Overwatch Classic. It's 6v6. It's back. That would drive so many players back to the game. But you got to make sure you get a couple things right first. I actually do think they should stay in 5v5 in the short term. Until they can get a lot of the features surrounding the game, like LFG or the rank system, or like just improve all of those systems, make those high quality of life, like the Mythic Shop stuff they're doing, and then do kind of like a soft relaunch of Overwatch as an IP with new branding and stuff like that. And have it be themed around like back to the roots. It worked for WoW Classic very well. You don't have to make an Overwatch Classic version. You just take everything over to that point. Maybe with a big workshop update to allow for more UGC to come out. That's what I would do. And I'd probably wait until you're ready to do that if I was Blizzard. It sucks. They're kind of stuck in this shithole for a while. But it really sucks. But yeah, either way, I just went on a massive rant. Let's flat switch.
So I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, though, I just wanted to put my thoughts out there. Season 10 is probably not my favorite season. I thought it was a good battle pass. I think it's
second worst season behind season 2.
The Mercy Mythic was really good.
Third worst season.
The Mythic shop's really expensive, but at the same time, if whales want to spend a bunch of money to get
it's a Mythic skin. Like, they can buy it. Yeah, it's fine.
You can still get Mythics the same way as before. Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I like the changes. I think it's cool. And I do genuinely think they care, and I really think that they want to make it better. But it still sucks, and it sucks having to wait weeks. And so yeah, don't know. So basically, to summarize it all up, can't really play ranked with my friends because the system doesn't work. Tank is a miserable experience. Been off-rolling with friends this week if you've popped in because we had drops. Oh yeah, drops were good. The drops were good. Nice shop skin drops. Glad they're doing stuff like that. But yeah, you see people come in and I'm always off-rolling, and it's like, why are you always off-rolling? Why aren't you playing tank? And it's like, I can't, because one, the experience sucks. And if you don't believe me, dude, we had Seagull play the other day. Seagull came back to play Overwatch at the start of the season. He was on his 3rd tank game, and I thought he was gonna have a mental breakdown. He literally was like begging us to not play tank in the next game. He's like, I'm gonna just get off. Like, guys, like, please don't, like, I can't do this. 3 games, and he almost like just was ready to self-destruct. It's not a normal experience. It's not something a player is gonna want to ever willingly take of, and I don't know how to fix it. So I hope it gets better. But if you are thinking about coming back for season 10, maybe hold off for a little bit, because definitely not my favorite season. I do hope things get better, but I wanted to.
So look at the 6v6ers in the chat. It is the only answer. It is. It is.
Why I don't like this season, and I do genuinely hope that things do get better. Anyways, though, I will say that the ranked complaints that I have is only for top level players, really.
Yeah, true.
And people that are playing in really, really wide groups in metal ranks with their friends. So I understand that some people are gonna be like, and they're gonna say it. Some people are gonna be like, well, you know, it's only a high ranked player problem, so it's not a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Suck, dude. Like, how to know? Like, they have no idea what they're talking about. It's like, oh, it's only a small percentage of the player base that can't play the game, so it's fine.
It's the reward. It's the end of it's the light at the end of the tunnel.
Are you stupid? Really quick, ball rework. I'm not a ball player, so I don't know. The shield thing apparently isn't that really good. But
it's annoying. It's annoying and it's bad.
Apparently the movement's really good with it. I don't know yet. It's still too early for me to tell. But so far it seems to be pretty okay. But the problem is, though, the experience hasn't changed in any way, shape, or form. Because if you play ball and they play all the anti-ball characters, you can still not play the video game. So the rework technically didn't do anything. Just like the hog rework, where the hog rework was supposed to change the one-shot by adding this new thing.
What did it do, Flats?
Didn't really do much, so they juiced up his
Oh,
heals.
it did nothing.
And then when they juiced up his heals, he still wasn't doing a whole lot.
That's so
now
weird,
he
but
had
they
juiced up
reworked
heals,
them.
And then they added back the one-shot. And now that they added back the one-shot, he also still has the juiced heals and the one-shot again. So it's like...
But they reworked the heroes. That's what everybody said to do for 5v5 tanking experience. I'm telling you guys, one more. The next tank that's going to come out is going to do the same shit. One more, and then the scales are tipped. It's almost like as if 5v5 is a bad gameplay loop for tanks. It's so funny. People are waking up to this shit.
Anyways, but yeah, the ball rework, I guess, is fun, but did it make ball better? For the moment, doesn't seem to. Anyways, there's my...
Good video. Actually kind of summarizes my thoughts pretty well, too. Like, I can't play the fucking game. So, which is why I have not queued the game at all today. We're react arcing.